Hey guys, today I'll be doing problem number 1 on LeetCode called toSum. The problem states that given an array of integers, return the indices of two numbers such that they add up to a specific target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. So for example, if we have 2, 7, 11, and 15 as an array and a target as 9, we can see that 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. Therefore, we want to return the indices of 2 and 7, which are 0 and 1 respectively. So if you haven't tried this problem, please pause the video to give it a shot. But here we go. So one thing we could do is we probably want to loop over all the elements, 2, 7, 11, and 15. And given each element, we want to try to search for the other element that adds up to the target value. So we'll loop over 2, 7, 11, and 15. And then as we're looping over those numbers, we want to find the complement number. And the way of doing that is just adding another loop to find that number. So what this would do is we'll create two for loops. And we're going to start with this, but there will be a better solution. But let's start with this for simplicity. So one important thing is we're looping over the numbers and setting it to x, but we also care about the indices because eventually we have to return them. So we should use the enumerate function to extract the indices and also the number. And I'll do that for another loop. And now we can check if x plus y is equal to target. And we also need to check that the indices are different because it does say that we cannot use the same indices twice. Okay, that looks good. If that's the case, then we found our two I and j, so I'll return I and j. And other than that, if we never hit this condition, then we never found the two indices, the two numbers that add up to target. Therefore, we should just return none, although this problem states that there will exactly be one solution. So we should never get to the end of this double for loop. So let's run this code to make sure it works. Great, yeah, it looks like it's working properly for this specific input. But let's see how we can improve this case. So if we look at, if we have two for loops looping over the nums, the runtime of, I guess, the number of comparisons that we have to do here is going to be the product of the two nums arrays, and they're both the same size because they're both the same array. So what's going to happen is we're going to, let's imagine the array was like this. The first time we would have x equal to 2, and we'll loop over y being all the values. So that would be 4 values. And the next time x would be 7 and y would be all the other 4 values. And x will be possibly 4 values and y will be possibly 4 values. And therefore we will have 4 times 4 comparisons, which will be generically, if it was just of length n, it will be n squared, n times n, number of comparisons, which is the same as n squared. So let's see if we can improve this. One possible thought that we could do is we can sort the array, but I would avoid this because of two things. One is that sorting would already cost n log n, and we might be able to do better than that. So another thing is that once we sort the array, we would lose the actual original indices of that array. It's probably possible to actually make an algorithm with sorting work, but for those two reasons, I would just avoid it. But let's see how we can improve doing other techniques. So let's see what's slow. So in the first for loop, that's kind of necessary because we do have to look at each number at least once. But the second for loop, how could we make searching for the target value faster? And what we could do is we can use a set or a dictionary. Let's say we use a set to store the numbers. We can easily try to find the number y that is equal to the target minus x. So we're able to find if that number exists. But since we need the indices, we should use a dictionary so that we can store the value, the index in the value. Great, so okay, so let's start with that. So let's say we had a dictionary that maps values to indices, and we could we can have one for loop that would create that dictionary. Let me call this mapping. So map value to index, and I will loop over the index and the value in num array, and I will then add it to my dictionary. So now we have this mapping, and instead of doing a for loop here, what we could do is we can try to find the complement value of x. So complement value would be target minus, I guess, if x plus y is equal to target, then the complement value would be equal to y is equal to target minus x. So we want to search for this y right here. And we want to search it in this map. So let's say that, let's try searching for this in this map. And let's see. So if to check if y is in the map, we can do if y is in here. Then we found our two indices. We want to return I and also the index of y, so that would equal to the value at y. So this will be our two indices. But there is one subtle aspect in that we might actually use the same indices twice, but if all the numbers are unique, then there won't be a problem. But if we had an input that was, let's say 0, 0, or no, just 0, and our target is 0, this should return none because we are not, we can't use the same number twice. But what's going to happen is we will return index 0 and index 0 as I and j, as you can see if I run this example. Ooh, yes. So yeah, this is our output, this is our input, and the expected value would be an assertion error because the assertion is that we can't use the same input twice or something like that. So to fix this, what we could do is we can generate the map as we are enumerating the nums. That way we would loop over all the x's, and as we're looping over the x's, like looping over 7, we won't add that to our map yet, but we'll try to search for 2 first in the we'll try to search for 2 in our map because 2 will be added before, and after we search for 2 and we don't find 2, then at the very end of that loop, we will add 7 to the target. That way, we won't run into this scenario where we're trying to search for something, we're trying to search for the current number, or we end up finding a current number that while we're searching. So we kind of want to combine these for loops, and basically I want to put this at the very end of this for loop. And now this value should be x, not v. And there we go. This should work. So my output is an empty list, but that's because it went to the very end. But the expected output is an error. So that's basically kind of the same, because we are always expected to find a solution. So therefore, this works as expected, and I will submit this to see how it goes. Great, this looks good. Yeah, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button. Thanks.